What's up, y'all? I'm back again, and you see it by the title, man. Today I'm talking about my D1 story, how I got here, what it took. And I know this is like a heavy subject because a lot of y'all really want to know what it's like to get there and what it takes. So I'm gonna tell y'all how it is, man, or my story is. I did this in 2 years with 0 state titles, and I'm not even playing my original sport. So let's get into it, man.
Alright, let's take it back a little bit. I've been playing football my whole life, and I think I started in like the 4th grade, and I loved playing until I got to high school. I played running back, and playing in high school was not fun for me at all. I was working hard every day, and I felt like if my old coach would have stayed, I would have never quit. But we got a new coach, and he mainly chose to play the bigger backs with me being a lot smaller than the other people. Now don't get me wrong now, I still had my fair share of fun, and every time I got my chance, I did what I could with the ball. No matter if it was the 4th quarter, 30 seconds left, or like the start of the 3rd quarter, I gave it all I had. I started trying to reach out to coaches, but I got some small talk from some schools, but nothing major. Around March 2020, I got an invite to the ESPN Underclassmen Elite Camp, and if you play football, you know this is a great opportunity to showcase your skills and really try to get an offer. Now we all know what happened in 2020. COVID hit, and this killed my opportunity. I was so mad, and it was actually hosted at my high school. Now the clips you're seeing right here, this is my junior season. This would be my last season before I quit. I started my senior season just doing small workouts and whatnot. I never actually got on the field. I decided to quit at that time, and honestly, my reason for it was that like the team, I just didn't like the environment. I didn't like my team. I didn't like where I was. You know, they say it was supposed to feel like family, you know, we were really brothers, but that's not the case, man. It did not feel like that. I was dreading every day. I hated being around the team for real every day. I was also running track at this time, and every time I went to track practice, everything just got so much better, you know. Track felt like home. Those are my real friends. Those are the people I enjoy talking to. Those are the people I talked to mostly in school. You know, I didn't really talk to the football team. And having a coach that chooses other people over you just because of your size and they won't really give you a chance, you know, it makes the sport much less fun. And my dad would probably agree because he didn't really like the coach either. But I mean, it is what it is. Do I miss football? Yes. Would I play again? Probably, but I don't see it happening. And now I'll transition into how track got big for me. So to start out, junior season was my first season really running track. In this picture right here, I actually jumped 15. And if you know track, 15 is terrible. Now that wasn't bad because I'm a sprinter, but in this video right here, I was at state, I barely made it, and I pulled up with a hamstring injury right there. And honestly, my whole junior season was terrible. My PR was like 11.2, 7.20 something, and my 200 was like a 23, man. My whole junior season was awful. From that point on, I really just dedicated myself to the work, you know. I liked going to the gym with my boys all the time. It was so much fun. I loved pushing myself to the limits and lifting heavy weights because that's what I've done my whole life. And for a small person, I was really pushing weight. But it got to a point where I lifted so much that it affected my running and whatnot. But I mean, then again, it was never a dull point in the gym with my boys, and if I could get those times back, I wish I could. But that was the same summer I was looking around for a club team, and then I posted this on my IG story. And that's when I found out about AAU track. Now I had no clue what that was. I didn't even know track could like have clubs, but my boy DeMonte put me on the Alabama Titans. Now who would have thought me just stepping onto a random track, going for some random club that I had no clue about, would have turned into something great for the rest of my life that I will never ever forget. Now when I tell you we were blowing teams out the water, man, it was like there was not even competition. This video right here, this was just a regular meet in Birmingham, and this shows how great we were, man. Like, look at that, man. It's like practice. Nobody's running with us. Now this clip right here, this is when I found out that I actually had potential to be good. This was our regional race, and I'm 3rd leg running right here. And my race changed our whole outcome of the season. And my teammates would have said the same thing. And by that time, the whole club world of track knew who we were. And in this video right here, this is our national meet for AAU. We're the blue team. You know, we were so good, you know, we took it to the championships, man. I'm third leg coming up right here. This is my boy Jacobin running. He's actually at Alabama with me right now. Man, this race was so intense, bruh. As we were walking out, people were looking at us or saying, oh man, that's Alabama, that's so unfair, man. These boys finna kill him. And when I tell you we won by this much, you're gonna see in this clip right here. You're gonna see it by the time actually too. We barely got into finals.
Coming up in 3, that's Alabama Titans.
Now the reason this was so important was because everybody in the finals got on the podium and became All-Americans. And honestly, at that point, man, my mind was blown. Like, I would have never thought that I could achieve something like that ever in my life. And this team, or our 4x1, were actually second in the history of Alabama track and field for the 4x1 all time, which is crazy to me. If you had told me that a year ago, I would not believe you, man. Now going into my school indoor season, I had a good little season, man. I PR'd the first meet at 693, but I topped out at 687. Our 4x2 team was also really goated, being in the top 10 nationally for the 4x2. So this led me to the New Balance Nationals for the 60 and the 4x2. Now this whole experience was amazing, bro, because it was in New York, and that's somewhere I've always wanted to go, and I'll never forget this trip, man. And this race was actually one of my best races. I tied my PR at 687. I thought I won, you know, the camera thought I won too. It was kind of on me, but I didn't. I got second. But this was just prelims, so it's okay. I made semis, and I'm on to the next day, which would be the 4x2. Man, at this point in my life, I was on top of the world, man. Like, it could get no better than this. I'm running in my favorite city, doing what I love to do around my favorite people, man. Now, we barely made it, but we did get into finals for this, which is great. Now, unfortunately, my body did give out in the 60s, so I got taken out in the semis, but since we made it in the 4x2 in the finals, we got top 6 and we became All-Americans, which would be my second time. Now going in the outdoor, I only ran 2 meets. In this picture, these 2 pictures you see right here is like the qualifying meet that I had to run a certain time to get to the next meet. And I ran a 10:92 and a 22:2, I think, which was just barely making. FSU relays, man. Now this is really where my life changed, where my recruiting changed, and pay attention, close detail here, because this is really where everything changed and where I excelled. The first day, man, I had the 200. I think I ran like 22:04. The 200's not my main event. I don't really like it, so I wasn't really too worried about it.
Here, it looks like the athlete from Hoover will take that heat. Around 21 high, 22 low.
Now the next day, the 100 meters, man, and I knew this was a big meet. I knew I would have to do something crazy here to change my whole outcome, my whole everything. And honestly, if you had asked me before the race, I would not expect to have done this good, honestly. When the gun went off, I felt perfect. I just kept running and I kept getting stronger and faster, and I kept my flow. Now, before the race, I was hella nervous. I was scared, and I was just trying to warm up, you know, get all the everything, all the nervousness out of my head and whatnot. You know, my teammates gave me some run gum or rum gum, whatever it's called. It kind of helped, not really. I think it did. They start calling for the 100-meter group. And I get towards the little clerk's desk, I check in, I'm talking to my coach in the corner, he just tells me that I just gotta run my race and do good. And my heat was already like a couple steps ahead of me, so I kinda had to run and catch up to him a little bit.
Man, I catch up to him, you know, they line everybody up. The first heat goes off and I'm like, damn, man, this is really my my chance. And it's so many people in the crowd, bro. My team's all standing there. You know, some people I know standing there, some other schools from Alabama, other schools out of state. And I'm like, damn, but this is really it. And I'm all the way like on the far lane next to the people in the crowd. So that made it even worse. They line us up, we get down on the blocks, man. He says set, we rise up, and then he says stop. And I'm like, damn, bro, like this is really distracting, man. Like what if this makes me mess up my race? But I don't let that bother me. So I had to lock in. So we get down again, he says set, and then the gun goes off, bro. Now I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was not expecting that at all. I knew I'd won the heat, but I kept running. I ran like towards the little water thing that was in front of us, and I was just turning around waiting for a time. Everybody's screaming, my team's going crazy. I'm like, what happened? Like, did I go 10-8, 10-9? And then I hear the announcer say 10-6, 9. Now that's kind of like 10-7, but it's still 10-6, and that is a huge PR for me. I went from 10-9 to 10-6 in a week, and I was running 11-2 the last year, which is crazy. I was on top of the world, man. I honestly, I didn't even know what to think, man. I was in shock. I was so happy that day, man. That bus ride back was amazing, bro. Like, I will never forget that day, man. And that's the reason that I'm here where I am today. Now, unfortunately, the very next week, I tore my hamstring, bro. And I dealt with that for so long, which soon turned into tendonitis, and I dealt with that for like a year, man. But after this FSU race, that's really when like my recruiting kind of took off. I was talking to Alabama State. I had a little bit of talking to Tuskegee. I had, I think, a little bit of Alabama A&M. But the ones that were serious were Tuskegee and Alabama State. Really, throughout the month of April, I wasn't running anymore because I was hurt. So I was really just trying to email schools and text coaches. And I wasn't too serious about this the whole year because I didn't think I was going to go D1 for track and field. But after this race, I knew I could do something. So I'm back in regular school now. I remember I'd email like maybe 20 to 40 coaches a week, emailing, texting, calling. I was trying to email Wisconsin, USC, Georgia, Florida, Bama, Tennessee, anything you could think of, bro. I was talking to them. I was in their DMs, bro. I got a little bit of response back from Wisconsin, but that didn't go too far. Then I started talking to Penn State, and it went all right. So that was one of my kind of options. I didn't really want to go to Alabama State because my thing is, like, I knew I was better than that, and you're not gonna be motivated to run somewhere you don't want to be at. And I didn't want to be at Alabama State. I wanted to be somewhere big. You know, you only have 4 years in college, bro. You might as well go big or go home. You know what I'm saying? Invest in yourself. So I had the Alabama State offer on the table for a while, but I was taking my chances, and it was kind of getting to that deadline, man. I was graduating soon, and I didn't really have anywhere to go. I wasn't applying anywhere. My grades weren't that good, bro. I had like a 2.8. 16 on the ACT, yes, 16. And I don't know, man, it was just chaotic. I kept emailing and texting Alabama because that's where I live and that was the closest college to me. And if you don't know, most colleges, sometimes they'll look at like their in-state kids first to see what they have, you know, before they go out of state. And it was one day where I got a reply from Coach Wiley, who was our sprint coach at Alabama. We finally were able to set up a phone call with him, me, and my dad. We just talked things over, man. Business, roster spots, what it would be like. And my dad was doing all the talking. I was just sitting there listening, just so excited. I didn't even know what to think, man. I didn't know what to think. But that call lasted for about an hour, and I landed a spot on the team, man. I also got a PWO from Penn State that day. I think I got one from Huntsville. And I'm pretty sure I got something from somewhere else. I don't remember. But yeah, man, that's basically it. That's the story of how I went D1 and my journey through it. Honestly, man, it's been a hell of a journey, bro. It's not for the weak, man, but hey, if you're in that process right now, don't quit, bro. Like, I know it's hard, man, but you know what's gonna happen if you quit. You have a 0% chance of getting what you want if you quit. You know you're not gonna get it. But if you keep going, if you keep trying, there's still a little chance that you might make it, man. If you work hard enough, if you're smart enough, and if you're consistent, you're gonna get something out of it. It may not be what you want, but you're gonna get something out of it, bro. If y'all wanna see like around campus and whatnot, I got another video about that. I'll put that up here. I'm also trying to get some merch out, man. Not my channel merch, but like I'm trying to design some clothes right now, so we'll see how that goes, man. It'll be out soon, but y'all see how it goes. But hey, that's it for this story, man. Yeah.